Okay, Thomas Paine's The American Crisis. I really found this encouraging. It's, of course, addressed to the people fighting the Revolutionary War, but I don't know. It felt very like a big pep speech, even for now. So let's take a look at it. So Thomas Paine wrote this when the colonists were losing very badly, and he was trying to encourage them to keep fighting, not to give up. Because we were colonies, a bunch of little ragtag people fighting against a world power. So, of course, it's a very challenging, hard fight. All right, so let's start at the top. These are the times that try men's souls. So these difficult challenges, these hard times are what show us who we really are. They try who we are inside. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. So people who are only willing to fight when things are going well, the summer soldier, so, it's nice out, or it's sunshiny, it's not raining. Those people who are only willing to fight at that time, they're not going to fight right now because right now it's hard. So those people are going to run away. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of men and women. So if you're still fighting when it's this hard, we owe you our gratitude. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. So remember, we were saying that King George III is a tyrant, and we are trying to overthrow him, but it's not easy to overthrow a tyrant. Yet, we have this consolation with us. We have this comfort. This comforts us. That the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. So that's encouraging, right? The harder something is, the more pride you can have when you have accomplished it or when you've overcome it. What we attain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. So he's saying like something that comes to us easily or something that is just given to us, we don't really value it as much as something that we have to fight for. It is dearness only that gives everything its value, right? So it is the challenge of it. It is the rarity. It is how hard it is to do the thing that makes it have its value. Diamonds are valuable because they aren't laying around on the ground everywhere like dirt, right? So this victory would be valuable because it was so hard to win. And I think that you see that in life a lot, like things that are come to you too easily, or maybe things that are given to you, you don't value as much as something that you really have to work for. Heaven knows how to put a proper price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated. So, like the idea of we're fighting for our freedom, and that is an amazing high value. It's a very important thing. So it would be amazing if it was just given to us. Nobody's going to give you something that's that valuable. You have to work for it. Britain, with an army to enforce her tyranny, has declared that she has a right not only to tax, but to bind us all in all cases whatsoever. And if being bound in that matter is not slavery, then is there no such thing as slavery upon the earth? Okay, so if England says they can do whatever they want to us, they can bind us in whatever case they want, they can tell us anything they want us to do, then we're slaves. And if we're not slaves, then there's no such thing as slavery. So obviously that's rhetorical because there was slavery. Even the expression is impious, for so unlimited a power can only belong to God. Only God can bind everybody, or only God can free everybody. England doesn't have this right. So how dare England take God's power, Thomas Paine is saying. Whether the independence of the continent was declared too soon or delayed too long, I will not now enter into as an argument. So I'm not going to try to argue if we should have done it right now or if we should have waited. That's not my point right now. We've already done it. We got to keep going. My own simple opinion is that had it been 8 months earlier, it would have been much better. We did not make a proper use of last winter, neither could we while we were in a dependent state. However, the fault, if it were one, was all our own. Okay, so like if we should have started earlier, then we should have. That was our fault. But it is what it is. We have none to blame but ourselves. But no great deal is lost yet. But it's not over. All right. All that Hal has been doing for this month past is rather a ravage than a conquest, which the spirit of the Jerseys a year ago would have quickly repulsed, and which time and a little resolution will soon recover. So these battles that we've been losing, we probably would have won them a year ago, but it's okay. We're still going to recover from them. This present winter is worth an age if rightly employed, but if lost or neglected, the whole continent will partake of the evil, and there is no punishment that man does not deserve, be he who or what or where he will, that may be by means of sacrificing a season so precious and useful. Okay? Regardless of if we should have started earlier, this is the time right now. We need to take advantage. This present winter is worth an age, right? So if we take advantage right now of the time that we have, then we will be successful. But it would be a sin for us to waste this time. I have as little superstition in me as any man living, but my secret opinion has ever been and still is that God Almighty will not give up on a people to military destruction or leave them unsupportedly to perish, who have so earnestly and so repeatedly sought to avoid the calamities of war. Okay? It's like, I'm not that deep into God, but I think that God will honor us because we really did try not to fight with England. And so he will honor us in that and will help protect us by every decent method which wisdom could invent. Right. So, and remember when we read the Declaration of Independence just a few minutes ago, that we said we petitioned King George III, we talked to the people of Britain, we tried all of these things to avoid war, but we couldn't avoid it. Neither have I so much of the infidel in me as to suppose that he has relinquished the government of the world and given us up to the care of devils. All right? So maybe I'm not very religious, but I also believe that he wouldn't just abandon us to evil people, which would be King George III. And as I do not, I cannot see on what grounds the King of Britain can look up to heaven for help against us. All right, so I don't see how King George III could ask God for help. We're asking God for help on our side. He doesn't have any right to ask God for help because he is a common murderer, a highwayman, or a housebreaker, has as good a pretense as he. All right, so a person who murders people, a highwayman, which is a person who jumps people on the road and robs them, or a person who breaks into the house, has as much a right to pray to God as King George III, right? So Thomas Paine is still saying that God is on our side. And so that's the American crisis, or an excerpt from it, just an excerpt.